Hi everyone, welcome to episode 17 of MotorServe UK TV series, which is now also our podcast, available on Spotify and all other platforms. Today we're very excited to welcome Sue Sims as a guest. She is a true leader in the property industry and we're very fortunate and lucky to have her on today. Sue's property career and journey began in the 1980s, and to me and for many others, she is one of the most experienced property investors that you will come across. Sue has accumulated a mass number of properties and investments over the years and now helps other investors and property buyers on their own journeys. Sue is a co-founder of Partners in Property, which is a large property network group where she's actively involved as a general manager. Sue and the team arrange monthly meetings across the UK with very valuable keynote speakers to help educate and inspire other property investors and budding investors in various property sectors. Sue is also a founding director of Genie Homes in Birmingham, which is a large specialist property sales and management agency. Sue works with landlords and tenants alike, and they specialise in the management and creation of HMO properties, as well as specialising in the creation of social housing opportunities for their landlords and tenants. Whatever it may be about the property industry and whatever sector you may be operating in, chances are Sue has the experience and can help you and many others along the way. This podcast promises to provide a lot of information and tips, so don't miss it. Please now welcome Sue Sims to MotorServe UK. Hi Sue.
Hi Cam, good to see you.
And you, thank you so much for coming over today.
That's my pleasure, thank you for inviting me.
And it's a nice trip over.
Yeah, not too bad.
Across Birmingham.
Yeah, not too bad. Like Longbridge over to Shirley is quite easy.
Yeah, that's good. No, but thank you for your time and
my pleasure.
making the effort for this.
My pleasure.
For the benefit of all our viewers and listeners. So hopefully we'll be able to get a lot of information and tips across. So let's get started. So you're obviously, I know you. I've known you for a number of years now, and it's all to do with property. So in the intro that I just did, I know that you're involved in a lot of stuff.
Okay.
But I tried to kind of keep it short. But have I missed anything, or is there anything that you'd say that I've missed? Or
no, I don't think so. I think you pretty much covered everything. I think I'm very fortunate that I got into property quite young, because Dad was always like a really forward-thinking landlord back in the 70s and 80s, before there were buy-to-let mortgages, before there were interest-only mortgages. He had a few student properties.
Oh, brilliant.
And then when I was 21, he went and found the shop that we currently still own and where Genie Homes is. And I went to see his bank manager to see if we could get a loan. It was a shop with a flat above it, so it would be now what's called shops and uppers.
Yeah.
Dad's bank manager said yes, but your dad will have to guarantee you. I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it under my own steam. So I went and met Mr. Finn at Midland Bank on the ramp in Birmingham City Centre.
Midland Bank.
Exactly,
Yeah.
It's now HSBC.
Yeah.
And he looked at my business plan, and fortunately he said, yeah, we'll loan you the money. So that was when I started, sort of like more than 30 years ago.
Wow, and that was Genie Homes back then?
No, that was literally, I just bought the property as a shop with a flat over it. We rented that shop for probably the best part of 30 years. Okay. When I was thinking about setting up a lettings agency, that shop had been empty for 6 months. And it was almost like, okay, that is the sign. That's where my lettings agency needs to be. Because if I've got to pay rent, may as well pay rent to me and my sister than paying it to somebody else. So that was how Genie Homes has ended up in that property in Longbridge.
So going back a few steps, so your father was involved in property. So was he always involved in property? Is that what kind of?
No, mum and dad have always worked together.
Yeah.
So 60 years married, and literally they've spent 24 hours a day together.
Wow.
For all those years, because they've always worked. So like Dad's always been self-employed.
Yeah.
So I think his first thing that he did, he bought a cafe in Borsall Heath, and he ran a cafe.
Oh, okay.
Then there was a hardware shop on just off the Stratford Road in Shirley, where Majestic Wines is now.
Okay.
There used to be a hardware shop then. Then Dad became, I've probably missed a few steps out, sub-postmaster with a property over on Wheelwright Road in Erdington. And then a couple of other sub-post offices. So Mum and Dad have always been self-employed entrepreneurs, business people, and I think that's obviously sort of like where I get it from, because that's the environment that I've grown up in. And when I had a full-time job, Dad always used to say to me, why are you making money for somebody else? Why aren't you making money for yourself? And so I needed to be at the right place in my career to be able to walk away from that and think, I don't need all the socialising.
So at what point did you obviously went through school and everything, and did you go to like college, university and stuff? Or
I went to university for 12 months, hated being a student.
Really?
Yeah, couldn't tell Mum and Dad that I was leaving until I'd got a job to go to. So I could literally then go and tell them sort of like fait accompli, I'm leaving uni, but I've got a job.
So do you want the good news and the bad news?
Yes,
or
exactly.
Do you want,
pretty much so.
First,
Yeah, because they, I think, were probably quite disappointed. I think Dad, in his head, had always seen that me and my sister would probably go into one of the professions. We went to King Edward's, so we had really good education. Yeah. It just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. I think by the time I got to university, I'd had it with education.
Just wanted to get out there in the world of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then you went from that, so you started, so you were employed?
I had a job with an insurance broker, which was a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. At that time, Mum and Dad had a hotel and restaurant, so I used to do my 9-to-5 job, and then I'd go and work in the restaurant of an evening and work there weekends. Yeah. Did that for a couple of years. Got bored with insurance because it really wasn't very challenging. Went to Pertemps to register for them to find me a job, and they suggested that I went to work in recruitment, and they'd got a job for me. So I then did recruitment for about another 16, 17 years.
Wow, okay.
The final position that I had, I set up a recruitment company with a business partner, and she had children, so that came to an end. Started doing some bits and pieces for myself. Dad didn't really like the fact that I then didn't have a proper job. So he went and talked to the letting agent that was letting the properties, because by this time I probably had a portfolio of about 20 properties.
Oh, okay. So
Dad went to talk to the letting agent and said, you're a one-man band, Sue's really good at sales, why don't you get her to work with you, grow the business, and then become partners? So this was the promise, that is what we would do, but that never happened. We grew the business, we took it from being quite a small business to having to be VAT registered, so turnover grew quite a lot. Never happened in terms of that partnership, so that was then when I set up my own letting agency.
Oh wow. So when was this? What kind of year?
Set it up about 2015 was when we set up my first letting agency.
Okay, so up until then you were working in the other?
So prior to that, I worked with the one-man band letting agency. I worked there for 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
And then it was just like, right, okay, you're not doing what you promised, you're not going to make me a partner in the business, therefore, right, I'm just going to walk away.
Brilliant.
So,
was it brilliant?
It was absolutely the right decision to make.
We're grateful now.
Yeah, I would not be in the position that I'm in now if I hadn't have taken that gamble. And I always think that I'm quite lucky in as much as any decisions that I've made, because I've not been married, haven't got children, it's only me. Yeah. So if it all goes wrong, there's only me that it affects, and I can always go back home to Mum and Dad and start all over again. Yeah. So I've always been sort of like fortunate. I've never had to do that. The businesses that I've gone into and what we've done have always been successful.
Do you think that's like your risk taking and your kind of entrepreneurism is because you know you've got that kind of safety net?
Yeah, I think so. I think 100%. I think so, because I know that if everything goes wrong, I can go back home to Mum and Dad. Yeah, 100% that makes a difference. But also, I think my work ethic, I've seen Mum and Dad work. Yeah. They've run their own businesses. I know what it's like when you have staff who don't turn up to work and the issues that causes. Yeah. And I think that gives you a totally different sort of like thinking about things. So I know that in my own business, I very much will put in 110%. never mind doing that because I love what I do, because it doesn't ever really feel like work.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because I'm doing something that I love.
Yeah.
And so many people say to me, so it's Sunday, why are you talking to me? Why are you answering the phone?
Yeah.
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about property.
Anyway.
Exactly.
Well, I've messaged you on a Sunday and you've responded straight away. And I remember I sent you an inquiry once regarding someone else, and you said, do they want to call today?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you can do if you want, but you know, it's fine for tomorrow.
Yeah.
But, so I know, I get that as well, because obviously I'm texting you on a Sunday. So
exactly.
I'm
and
too.
I don't ever mind that, because if I'm with family, I'm with friends, I'm out, my phone will stay in my bag.
Yeah.
So I'm not tied to my telephone and thinking, oh, if I get a message, I've got to deal with it now.
Got to stop everything and deal with it, Yeah, but you will when you're
absolutely.
around.
Yeah. So if I'm just sitting at home of an evening and the TV is on and I'm relaxing and I get a message come in, actually it's probably easier for me to deal with it then than it is in the middle of day when I'm trying to work. And
then they'll build up for the morning anyway, so then you think, I wish I chipped them off. Yeah, definitely. I understand how you feel on that, and I do the same. My wife's usually, and people say to me, why are you always working? Why do you respond to the emails? It's like, because I'll be another 50 in the morning. So.
But you don't have to. It's always your choice.
That's it.
Whether or not you want to do it.
Exactly.
And that's the way that I look at it, that I am in that fortunate position.
Yeah.
That I can choose what I do and I can choose when I want to do it. And as soon as I stop enjoying what I'm doing, I will stop doing it and I will find something else to do.
Do you think you will?
No.
Property is your game, isn't it? Like you're very good at it.
Yeah, definitely. Property is what I love. Yeah,
so with your family and stuff, at what point? So when you say you got 20 properties in your portfolio, that's your own. Like, you built that yourself?
No, so actually my portfolio now is about 50.
Yeah.
So we have grown that significantly over time.
Have you taken some over from your parents who've bought some off them?
No, so mum and dad, when I was probably in sort of like my late 20s, Dad said at that point, look, it's too much for us now. They didn't have a lot of property. And we were like, no, not in the right position for me to be able to manage them. So Dad sold them.
Okay.
Put the money into stocks and shares through an IFA. Property market crashes. He loses a chunk of money. So pulls all the rest of the money back out and we reinvest in property. So we started reinvesting in property again at about 2008. So half of my portfolio I own with my sister. The rest of it I own with a couple of friends. So what I've always done, but before I started really getting involved in property in a more professional way, I never really recognised that what I'd done was JV with people. I didn't really think those are my joint venture partners because one was my sister, one was my best friend, one is an ex-boyfriend. So it never really seemed like I was JVing because they were people that I already know. Absolutely. And that's why I get quite horrified sometimes when I see stuff on social media. Somebody's gone to some sort of property event and then the day after they've gone, I've met my new JV partner and we're going to set up a company together. And you think, you don't even know who that person is. You don't know their values. You don't know their ethics. You don't know how that's going to work in the future. But that's just the way that I feel about things, because I think property can be, if it goes wrong, it's so hard to get out of. Yeah, it is. It's very illiquid, isn't it? It is. Yeah. Yeah, but I always say to people now, if I'm talking to them and they're talking to me about JVs, it's like if it goes wrong, it's like getting a divorce. And it's like getting out of a marriage. It is as difficult. Yeah, that's it. Well, it's usually the largest proportion of a divorce, isn't it? Yes. The property. So you're basically getting a property without the marriage. Yeah. So you're going to be stuck together anyway. But okay, so you kind of moved into property stuff. At what point, because I think I've asked you this before at some point, but you, from your properties, from your large portfolio properties, you're, I believe, financially secure and financially independent. So you don't really need to work as such. So what drives you to do, because it's not just, obviously, we haven't got onto it yet, but you got Genie Homes, which is obviously your letting and sales agency. Then you do a lot of talks with partners in property and all the other stuff you do like this.
You're out there a lot, like you're on social media a lot. What drives you? If it's obviously not money.
I don't know is the honest answer, except for the fact that I enjoy what I do. You're absolutely right. I don't need to do it, but I do need an income.
Yeah.
And I've always looked at my property portfolio, that's my pension.
Okay, yeah.
But I still don't know at what point that I would think now is the time that I need to draw from that. Because I've still got lots of energy, I still love what I do, so I don't need to sort of like think about that. And I think that the driver is certainly with sort of like what I'm involved with Partners in Property, the members are great.
Yeah.
That's what drives me with that.
But you know, with Partners in Property, so you obviously, when you left the insurance company and you're working with the other lettings guy, then you moved into your own, you were doing all your property stuff on the side. How did the Partners in Property come about? Like what changed to take it out to market and like actually help people?
So what happened was one of my best friends was made redundant from a job. So he started doing some maintenance work for me at my lettings business. And we had a conversation about the fact he needed more clients. So I said, we're going to have to start to go to property network meetings. Now, I hate networking. I'm not a good network person at all. But he is. So he was absolutely great in as much as he was quite happy walking into a room and going chatting to people. I'd be the person that would like want to stand there in the corner with my phone out and pretend I'm busy because I don't want to talk to anybody I don't know. And that was fine. It gained us some clients at Genie Homes, which was brilliant. But then he didn't really like being self-employed, so he went back to work and went and got a job. I'm like, I'm now going to have to go to these network meetings on my own. Going to have to pull up my big girl pants, and I'm going to have to go to these meetings on my own. And that was really what started it, because then I went to a few different meetings, and then I met Adam Lawrence at a network meeting. And what we decided that we wanted, because we were both experienced, Adam a lot more experienced than I am and a much, much bigger portfolio than I have, was we wanted to have a daytime meeting which would attract other full-time property investors, because a lot of the evening network meets that you go to are very much for beginners. And we would always be the most experienced people in the room. So that was how Partners in Property came about. If I hadn't have gone to network meetings, I would never have met Adam, and we'd have never had a conversation. And that was how sort of like Partners in Property started 7 years ago.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so what is Partners in Property? You've just share like the details on how people can be part of it if they want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So Partners in Property, as I've just said, is a daytime property event for people who are generally in property full time, or if you're still in a full-time job, you are serious about getting into property. And we've had people before now who are still in a full-time job, but they will take a Friday off once a month to come to our meeting, but then probably at the end of 12 months they will have done something in property because they are serious about being property investors, even while they've still got a full-time job. If you wanted to ever join us at a meeting, we have a meeting in Birmingham, Bristol and London, and people could just get the information from our website.
Brilliant.
It's
so
the easiest.
You go that far now, so you've got three cities you're covering it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. How many people do you get generally at each meeting?
Anywhere, I would probably say between about 40 and 70.
Okay, wow. That's quite
Prior
big.
to COVID, it was a lot more than that. Our London meeting used to be between 100 and 120, but I think COVID changed everything.
Yeah,
and I
think
think
scared to come out.
And I still think there is an element of that sometimes I think people almost got lazy, and I think there is still so much content that you can get from Zoom, from other meetings that are sort of like online meetings, that actually you don't have to get yourself in a car, drive to a meeting, but actually I'd much prefer a face-to-face meeting, because I think you can actually get so much more, you can develop better relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
I agree with that. So from everything you've done, obviously you got quite heavy into property. Have you ever met people in other careers or other jobs and thought, oh, do you know what, I'd love to have done that? Is the grass greener on any other side that you've come across?
Not really. No. I think because I've always worked in sort of like a sales environment, I think I'm quite competitive. I quite like having targets. Certainly when I worked in recruitment, I was always one of the top performing consultants in whichever company that I worked for. And you asked me earlier, what's my driver? I think to a degree it's recognition. You're right that it's not money. So even when I worked in that sales environment, yes, I earned lots of money because I was successful, but actually what was more important to me was that somebody else in one of the other branches would go, that's Sue Sims, if I need advice, I'll speak to her because she's a top performing consultant, therefore she must be good at a job.
Brilliant.
So yeah, you've made me think about that.
Yeah. And this is a question that usually comes later on. So for other people that are thinking about doing stuff, thinking about going to a business, a lot of the time people are obviously focused on money. But do you think it's passion over money, or passion leads to money? Or do you think I should just chase the money?
I think you potentially need a certain amount of money to start a business because you've still got all of your bills to pay. Yeah,
of course, practicalities.
Yeah, so you've got to look at that, as you've said, the practicality of it first. But having a passion for something is more likely going to make you successful. Because if you're not passionate about it and it's your business, whatever it is that you are selling, whether it be a service or a product, if you're not passionate about it, how can you get that across to somebody else, and why should they then want to buy from you? Yeah,
I think it's also touching upon that. If you're not passionate about it, you don't want to talk to people on a Sunday. You don't want to. So kind of ties back to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, whereas absolutely.
If you said it's not your job, you love it.
Yeah, and again, going back to the times when I was in recruitment, I used to go to work on a Sunday afternoon because I knew I ran a temps desk and we were putting temporary secretaries, office administrators, people like that into temporary jobs. And I knew that if I went in on that Sunday afternoon,
catch more.
Which, I could then, for the day after, have more temps going out to work, it would make me more money.
Which is why you're a top consultant.
Yep.
Going above and beyond.
Yep. Which is why I used to get quite cross with my manager at the time. He'd look at her watch every morning. We were supposed to start work at 9:45. And I'd be 2 or 3 minutes late every morning. I'm just not a mornings person, hate mornings. Would always run it as close as I possibly could. And I think I work through my lunch hour. I never leave on time. And I'll come in over a weekend if I need to. What difference does it make, that 2 or 3 minutes in the morning? It's like, and now with my own business, at Genie Homes, we very much run it so like that everybody are adults that work for us. We give them quite a lot of flexibility. And I think it pays off.
No, it does. I think it builds trust, doesn't it?
100%. And I think that all of our team will go over and above. But I think it's because they know that it's a give and take.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good advice. So right now, obviously we're in this changing and developing economy and market. So you're the people that come to Partners in Property and generally who you consult and coach. What are you telling people right now? If someone wanted to enter the property investment market right now, in these mortgage rates are up, there's a lot of scaring around the economy and everything else. What are you telling people at the moment?
Really difficult question to answer with any certainty, because every single time I think property is the one element where there's a shiny new penny every month. When I first started going to network meetings, it was don't do buy to let anymore, move into HMOs. Then after that, it was like, don't do HMOs anymore, move into serviced accommodation. And the latest shiny penny seems to be social housing. Now, I've been working with social housing providers for the last 10 years, so it's not a shiny new penny by any means. But I think now that is going to be an area which becomes more and more important. The Renters' Rights Bill is going to create all sorts of issues and all sorts of challenges for the majority of landlords. If you can find a way that you can move your property outside of the Housing Act and leasing it to a social housing provider is going to be one of those options that you can consider, I think that would definitely be a route I would talk to people about investigating. It's not the easiest. There's only a small pool of lenders. So you need to make sure that you've got a mortgage broker that understands social housing inside out and knows who the lenders are. You also need an insurance broker that understands which insurers will insure the property, because one of the things lots of people get confused by, and that they think they can insure their property that is leased to a social housing provider, and because the end user who is living in the property, so the people living in the property, are more than likely going to be on benefits, they think as long as they get an insurance policy that says it's okay for DSS tenants, that will cover them. But actually, the insurance policy needs to be allowing the policy holder to lease the property to a social housing company, who then choose their own tenants. So as a landlord, you don't know who your end tenants are going to be that are living in that property. So I think there's quite a lot that, unless you understand the sector properly, can really catch people out. And that is one of the things that worries me, that there will be people that will be caught out.
Yeah, there's a lot of complexities, isn't there, in property? That's the thing.
There is, absolutely. And I think it's like, I won't talk to people about buying commercial property and setting up commercial leases because I don't have the experience.
Yeah.
But I think in property, you've got all sorts of people who will say, yeah, I'm the expert.
Yeah.
But 6 months ago, they've just come off a training course.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to ask you about that, actually. That was one of the later questions. But there's a lot of, obviously, the social media's brought a rise to a course here, there and everywhere. And the kind of course materials that are put together in the kind of shiny penny syndrome thing that you're talking about. So what are your thoughts on some of these courses and what they produce?
Difficult one. I think there are some excellent trainers that have got all the qualifications and all the experience to be training on what they're training. There are others that just want to take your money, don't really care about the content that they're going to give you. All they're concerned about is, let's make me richer, and I make more money from running training courses than I do from property. And then I think there's the others that set themselves up as experts because they think they can without necessarily having the background knowledge.
Yeah.
It's really difficult because there are some good trainers out there, but I think everybody's got tarred with the same brush.
It's a difficult industry, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, because it's not just in property, it's in the business, social media world, everywhere else. There's a lot of training out there. I think they're a lot more visible now because of social media.
That's right, and I think one of my friends who does quite a lot in personal development, he says it's exactly the same as property. You will get a lot of people that are training personal development stuff with very, very little experience.
Yeah. So what do you say to people to look at the people behind it and look at their experience and do some research?
Yeah, it's one of the things that we talk about all the time at Partners in Property, and that is we must sound the most boring people in the world because all we ever talk about is doing due diligence. And it doesn't matter what it is that you're researching. It could be the background that you need to do about somebody that you're going to JV with. It might be the background that you need to do with somebody that you're going to loan money to, being an angel investor. It might be a company that you're going to pay money to do training with. It's everything that you get involved with property, you need to do the due diligence. It might be the deal that you're being offered by a sourcer. Don't ever believe the numbers that they're telling you. Just go away and do the numbers yourself and work out, is a deal a deal? So I think for me, it's so important that people understand how to do due diligence and what they should be looking at. Definitely.
It's so people right now are saying they're kind of moving away from the property market a little bit because prices aren't as good, there's not as much growth. And I've heard people saying the buy-to-let market is dead and the interest rates have killed it. What would you say to that?
I think people have always talked property down for a long time. If you think about it, I think property is really cyclical.
Yeah.
And it's every time the market crashes, it will then climb up again and the peak of it will be higher than the last peak.
Yeah.
So for me, investing in property is a long-term investment. I think gone are the days where you can do buy, refurb, refinance, pull all your money back and go again.
Yeah.
I think now it is very much that you're going to look at it. And I've looked at my own properties where I've earned more through capital growth than I have through rent.
Which is the key really, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's so many people out there saying, you hear the terms, you know, I bought this property and now I'm cash flowing, I'm earning £3,000 a month. And it's like, are you really earning
Yes.
that? Yeah.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
And particularly when we're talking about something like shiny new penny, I see all the time on social media, I've just got this serviced accommodation apartment, or I've just set up this house for serviced accommodation, and I've just got this booking for the next 6 weeks and it's going to make me this amount of money. But you never see those people in 12 months' time saying, this is how much this house has made me over the last 12 months.
Because they seem to forget the expenses.
Exactly.
And incidentals.
Exactly.
Yeah, off the back of it.
So I've got 5 apartments that we use for serviced accommodation.
Yeah.
And I probably, when we look at the overall figures, only make about £100 a month more than if they were on ASTs.
Yeah.
But I still prefer, even though they don't make me a lot of extra money, and they are a lot of work, even though I've completely outsourced all the management of them, I like the fact that I've got eyes on that property all the time.
Yeah.
So in terms of my maintenance bills, generally my maintenance bills are less because I've never got a tenant in there that doesn't bother to report that there's been a leak, and they only report it when the ceiling comes down. But those that we use for serviced accommodation, I've got cleaners going in there all the time.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different.
Every week, yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of different reasons, I think, as to why people invest in different types of property as well.
Yeah, definitely. We say it's to do with their circumstances more than anything, what they're looking for.
I think so, and I think that sort of like coming back to your question about buy-to-let, I still think purchasing a property doesn't have to just be seen as, I'm just going to use it as a straightforward buy-to-let with a family living there. You've got other options that you can look at that can make it work. Yeah,
because I was talking to someone, in kind of combination with yourself a few weeks ago, and they've got it on single let.
Okay.
They've had a traditional house, 3-bedroom house, they've got it on single let, and they're weighing up the options of the social housing option. And he was saying, oh, it's less rent. And
it isn't though.
Yeah, but then I had to say to him, what about your gaps? What about your refurbishments? What about the repairs and stuff? Because obviously social housing has its...
And more often than not, dependent on the area where the property is and dependent on the social housing provider that is going to lease it from you, you can potentially be paid at least market rent, and on some instances a little bit more than market rates. Yeah. So it's not all about LHA rates and it being at the lowest common denominator. Quite often it's not. It's comparable with market rates, and exactly as you've said, no maintenance, no bills, damages are covered by the provider, compliance is covered by the provider. There is so many benefits. Yeah,
I know you've done one for me, and it was higher than market rate, so thank you for that. And
that's nice to know. Well, but as you know, it doesn't always happen smoothly.
No, it's hard.
Sometimes it can be really hard to get them over the line, but then once it's over the line, it's leased for the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever the lease agreement is. Yeah,
you can forget about it.
Exactly.
Whereas, we have had high turnover apartments where the tenant seems to leave every 6 to 12 months, and then it's just a constant headache. Whereas now I have given that to you guys, and that's hopefully...
Yeah, now we've got the headache.
So you're finding a lot of people, because I hear a lot about this, and we've had to do some stuff ourselves. But nowadays, if you're going to be buying property, because of the taxation changes and the rules, etc., on the income, would you advise your investors and kind of mentees to go limited?
I would tell them they need to speak to a specialist tax accountant and take the correct advice for their own circumstances. Potentially, yes, you will want to invest through a limited company, but I'm not qualified to give that information, so I'm very much go and talk to the right person, go and talk to them about long-term goals, because I think this is sometimes where people fall down. They will go and talk to a tax specialist, but just say, this is what I want to do now. But actually that tax specialist can help you plan for the next 10 or 15 years. And if they understand what that plan is for the next 10 or 15 years, they can give you much better advice than just looking at the here and now. But that's how I advise people. But potentially because of Section 24, I would imagine for most people's circumstances, they probably would need to invest in a limited company.
Are you finding that's a norm at the moment? There's a lot of people doing that you come across?
I think it depends on whether or not the people that are investing more recently or whether or not you're dealing with people that bought a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because I bought all of my properties in my own name. So 2.5 years ago, we incorporated.
Yeah.
The biggest headache, nightmare, stressful situation ever, because literally we had to remortgage every property. It was my sister and I that have incorporated, and everything had to go through on that same day. So we had to get all the solicitors to buy into it. We had to get the mortgage broker to understand exactly where we were. We had to get all the mortgage offers to all come in on the same time. But yeah, so it was really stressful. However, it's put us in a much, much better tax situation.
Yeah.
And one of the lenders, as part of their questions about why we were doing it, wanted to know why, and the tax accountant that we were using had to put together a proper business report to say, these are the business reasons why they're incorporating. And it's got nothing at all to do with like tax evasion or tax avoidance, but it was a business reason that we did it.
Yeah, keeps it, in a way, from my perspective as well, it's the protection of it.
Yes.
Because obviously it's in limited company, limited liability, all the rest of it, and it's kind of, in your mind, it's there.
And I think for me,
yeah,
obviously there was the tax implication because my sister and I were being absolutely hammered for tax. It was ridiculous, the amount of money that we were paying. And it was stopping us being able to do maintenance on properties because we just didn't have, we talked about it, full cash flow because we were having to put it on one side for all the tax. Now we've incorporated, we have now got the money that we need to spend on things like the maintenance. So it is really important, I think, that you do make the decisions for the right reasons and that you understand it all, really.
Yeah, definitely. So with your property portfolio, you mentioned, you've grown it over the years. Do you specialise in any particular property? Is there something that you look out for? Not
particularly. My portfolio now is really diverse. So I've got buy-to-lets, the flats and houses. So I've still got traditional buy-to-let.
Yeah.
I've got properties that are leased to social housing providers. I've got a property that is an HMO, and we've got the 5 apartments that we use for serviced accommodation. So I've literally got lots of different options of what we can do with property.
You've got all the experience of it.
Yeah.
So you don't touch, at the moment, you don't touch commercial properties as such?
No, the only commercial property I've got is my shop that I bought 30 years ago.
Basically, you went to Genie. Yeah, okay. Is that not interested you, the commercial market?
Not really, because I've never investigated it properly and I've not learnt about it. So whether or not that's something that I would do in the future, I'm not sure.
Yeah, when you get a bit bored.
When I get a bit, when I get that odd 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly that. Brilliant. So at the moment, for people entering the property market and for existing landlords, what would you say, what are you concerned about? What would you say the current threats are to the market?
The Renters' Rights Bill, 100%.
The big one.
There is so much that's coming in with that is going to affect landlords and it is going to make it a more difficult environment to operate in. It's supposed to be to help tenants. Tenants are going to be the worst affected because so many landlords are now exiting the market.
Yeah.
They're just getting out of it, which is going to make that pool of rental properties smaller. So when supply reduces, demand is going to stay the same, prices are just going to go up.
Demand's rising.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not a good from any perspective. And if the government, and it doesn't matter which party that we've got in government, I think they're all going the same way, is that they want big business to be involved in the rental market. So you can read in the press, there's banks that are going to be buying. John Lewis are going into the rental market. As a tenant, if you've got an individual landlord, say for example, if one of my tenants comes to me to say, due to personal circumstances, I can't pay my rent this month, I can arrange with that person that they can have a payment plan. I can't imagine that big business is going to have that same sympathy or thought. So again, how is that going to benefit the tenant? It isn't. And I'm assuming that with big business like that, if they're involved in the rental market, they will have systems in place. that means that you get a rent rise every 12 months. All of the stuff that as individual landlords we can take a view on, I don't think they will. So I think that is going to make it much, much more difficult for tenants. But nobody seems to have thought about this. It's all bad landlords, and landlords have got such a horrendous name, but actually I think that isn't the right thing.
No, I agree. Because I see it quite often. We're going to move on to that as well. But since you started Genie Homes, or is it since you started Genie Homes, when did you go big on social media?
Similar time.
Yeah.
And that was because at the time I had a business coach.
Yeah.
Who said to me in terms of my business, and he wanted me to be a coach and mentor. He said, in order to attract people to work with you, you need to raise your profile on social media. I've never been a big person that I want to be a coach and mentor. I do it. I have got one-to-one coaching clients, but the result of all the stuff that I do on social media brings me clients to Genie Homes, brings us members to Partners in Property. So that for me now is more important. But yeah, 100% social media. It just makes me laugh when I talk to people and they'll say, oh yes, Sue's the queen of social housing. Really? Or other people said, Sue's the queen of Birmingham. No, it's just because that's what you see me for. For me, I just take that as like with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, but that's where we met.
Yeah.
In social media.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's obviously had this effect, and we've done business. We've got a few properties on.
Because I think you probably came to one of the very, very first property events that I organised. When I organised that event at the Belfry.
Yeah, exactly that, at the Belfry, yeah.
And that probably
I met you and I'd seen you online. Yeah. I was like, oh wow, there's the queen of social housing.
And that was before I really started talking about social housing. Because I think certainly, although I've been involved in that arena for about 10 years, I think in terms of talking about it on social media, it was probably sort of like 5-6 years ago was quite sort of like small with what we were doing, whereas now it's very much more at the forefront for many more people. Yeah.
But you say that with the property market, like with the more traditional estate agency or the established estate agents, they don't really do it, do they?
They don't understand it at all. And I think for me, one of the important things for looking at any business that you have, that you've got to change with the times and you've got to learn about what you can do. And despite the fact that on social media, everybody thinks about me and social housing, it's still only about 15% of the business turnover that we do at Genie Homes.
Wow.
So it's still quite small.
Yeah.
So the rest of what we do with Genie Homes is managing HMOs and still managing buy-to-let properties.
Yeah, the normal ASTs.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So on social media, I've seen you a few times. You've put properties up and then you get a little bit of a negative goblins coming at you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I will always go and play with the trolls because what they don't appreciate is the more engagement on that post, the more the social media platform loves it, the more the algorithm looks at it, and the more people they'll put it in front of.
I've seen it.
Exactly.
I'd laugh as well.
Exactly.
It's because you said it before, but the landlords get a bad name. They get a bad, and you put a property out for rent.
Yeah.
They go, how much rent? How much?
Oh, that happens all the time. But you know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
And I've got, there's a guy at the moment that is like trolling me on so many of my posts, just calling me a land leech. It's like, so what?
Land leech?
A land leech, yep. And I just like will go back to him, thank you for your compliments, and just be really polite. And it's like they don't know how to deal with you.
Yeah.
Because you're not going back and being aggressive.
Yeah.
But I will always, if I've got the time, so I'll only play with the trolls if I've got the time.
Yeah.
So it's like if I've done a post and it's a Sunday and I'm sitting at home and I'm not doing anything else, I'll play with the trolls all day.
Yeah.
And I will always try to make sure I have the last comment. And I've had trolls before now that have gone, I'm bored of this conversation now.
Yeah,
I'm going, yes, that's the one that I've won.
Treat you to submission. Yeah.
Absolutely. So for all those people that get concerned about being trolled, it's like, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just go with it. Go with the flow, because it will help you grow your engagement.
Yeah, big time.
100%.
Picks up, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So for your business, what would you say? You mentioned it. That's like social housing is a small percentage of your business. If you could put a figure on it, how much would you say? Because obviously you started Genie Homes, didn't you? And kind of social media started with that.
Yes.
Would you say it's been a big proportion of your business growth?
Yeah, I would think so. When I look at where our new business comes from, most of it comes through social media in one form or another.
That's it. It's hard
where people are
sometimes,
following
isn't it?
me.
Yeah.
We get some that will come. I think because we've got to the size that we are now, and we started to see this a couple of years ago, we will have landlords calling up now because they've seen our ads on Rightmove.
Yeah.
They've seen our to let boards out. So we do get those initial inquiries coming through that way, whereas obviously when we first started, that was very difficult. Whereas now I think because we've got enough traction, we've been around for a long time, we do get landlords that will call us up, so I've got a property to rent, can you help me? And I went, before I came here today, I met up with a landlord over in Acox Green. I said, how did you hear about me? He said, my electrician, who's doing some work in my house, is doing some work for somebody else who's working with you.
Okay, yeah.
So it's always nice when we get a recommendation as well.
Yeah, good old word of mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. So with you mentioned it before, but you say when you started your business, you had a coach and he or she led you down this road of social media, pushing you out there. How important do you think that is? Like, not even nowadays, anyway.
I think if you've got the right coach, I'm not sure that business coach that I had was the right person for me, but what they did in terms of pushing me out there with regards to social media has paid dividends. So I think if you want a coach and mentor, you need to find the right person for you. And you need to find the right person that is far enough ahead of you as well. Doesn't necessarily need to be in the same business that you're in, but I think you do need to be surrounded by people that you then aspire to. Yeah,
definitely. Helps you raise the bar, doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then brilliant. If there's things that you're being challenged by in your business, you can then go and talk to them, say, look, this is where we are, this is what's happening. I'm not quite sure. Can we have a chat about it? Can we brainstorm? So you can then put a plan of action in place.
And usually if they're that far ahead,
they'll have done it.
Piddly stuff.
Exactly.
They say, don't worry about it, that's minor.
Yeah.
We'll sort that out, no problem. Which is
absolutely.
The way, isn't it? Because sometimes you need that, don't you? Because it gets overwhelming.
And that's why I'm really lucky at Genie Homes, because there's another 2 directors. We're all quite different in terms of sort of like our backgrounds, where we are in property, what we've done in property, and that makes a big difference as well in having those business partners again that you can run different ideas past, and they'll go, yep, that's great, we'll go and run with that, or actually, that's not such a good idea. Maybe we'll park that for now.
Reality check.
Yeah, exactly.
You're obviously into so much stuff, in so many different aspects. How do you manage your time?
Lots of people ask me that question because I'm not somebody who's mega organised.
Okay.
I just do. And that's really hard to probably explain to anybody.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is because I don't just work a traditional 9 to 5. I will do stuff when I need to do stuff. And I do juggle lots of things at different times. So it is just a case of just trying to just fit stuff in. Quite often if people have asked if they can talk to me about property, I'll say, yep, fine, ring me. And 9 times out of 10, it will coincide with when I'm in the car. Hands-free.
Yeah.
Great time for me to have conversations with people because I can say, look, I'm in the car for 20 minutes. And it also can bring a conversation to an end as well. So I don't necessarily then get caught up with long conversations with people that I don't need to. So but if somebody said to me, so how do you plan? Do you have sort of like, I still use an old pen and paper diary.
I do.
Oh yeah, I'm still old school. I still quite like having my diary and write my appointments in there. I don't chunk time out. So right, for this hour I'm going to do this, for that hour I'm going to do that. That just doesn't work for me. I'm very much a case of let me just get on and do what I need to do, which is not necessarily how I work with any of my coaching clients that have said they've struggled with time management, for people who are saying to me that they struggle with time, then we look at putting in different strategies in place. So I had a guy that I was working with who wanted to invest in property, long distance lorry driver.
Wow.
Had got all the funds of what he needed to, but said, I don't have the time to talk to estate agents to be able to book appointments to go and view property. And we looked at that and said, right, okay, you have to take 45-minute breaks every 4.5 hours to meet your tachograph requirements. In that 45 minutes, you can go and have your half an hour break, go and walk around the services, whatever. You can make 15 minutes to ring 2 or 3 estate agents. And if you do that every time you have that break, you will be able to make your phone calls to be able to talk to estate agents.
Probably be ahead of other people as well, because they wouldn't have that structure.
Exactly.
Normally, yeah.
And that's where, when I'm working with people and they've got challenges and they've got hurdles to get over, it's like, right, okay, if we need to look at something like what you're doing with time, is just look at where you can find that time, particularly for people who are in full-time jobs who do want to purchase property. It's finding that way then they can be able to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't always do what I suggest to other people.
Yeah, you don't always practice what you preach.
No, I'm not good at that.
Yeah. But like you said, if you make the time whenever and you get it done, you do stay on top of it, don't you?
Yeah,
you know,
I try to.
Yeah, because thinking about it, you've got Genie Homes, you've got your 50 plus properties to look after in all different areas of the industry.
I mean, my portfolio has done what I've wanted it to do, because we've got about 2/3 of the properties assigned to social housing providers.
Yeah.
So that takes away a big chunk. Yeah. A lot of my properties that are still buy to let, I've got long-term tenants in them. So fingers crossed, we don't have too many issues with that. So again, that sort of like saves on time. So my portfolio property tends to almost run itself. My sister, with the properties that she and I own, she does all of sort of like the paperwork, the admin. I deal with the maintenance and the day-to-day stuff with the properties. So that does tend pretty much to run itself. Partners in property, we have a VA over in the Philippines that does a lot of like all of the general admin, deals with all the membership queries, deals with all that sort of stuff. I'm looking at that at like a bit more high level with things like booking speakers, making sure that the stuff is organised and needs to be done. And then again with Genie Homes, we're in a very fortunate position. We've got 14 team members. So I'm not necessarily involved in the day-to-day having to deal with a phone call with a tenant ringing up because they've got a maintenance problem, or a tenant ringing up to go, oh, Susie's stolen my cheese, can you sort it out? Usual HMO type problems. We've got a team that sort of like looks after all of that stuff. So again, I can be doing the stuff that I enjoy, which is going out meeting landlords, talking to them about property, talking to them about strategy and all that sort of stuff. So I think I am really fortunate, but obviously with having a team of 14, we have got the other 2 directors. We do seem to spend a lot of time now in sort of like people management. Yeah. But you'll know that from having a big team yourself.
It comes with the territory.
It does very much. Yeah. It seems it's more sort of like managing people rather than sort of like just being able to get on with what you need to do.
Yeah, running the business. Yeah,
but we've got a great team that work for us, so I can't complain on any level. They are really good with what they need to do.
And I agree with you on that because I've dealt with a few of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah, that's really always nice to hear. And fingers crossed, that's where we are with the team.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. So you're here today. I know you like driving, and you like driving to different cities, especially.
I do.
Yeah, following your sat nav.
Yeah, definitely following my sat nav.
But what happens when you follow the sat nav sometimes, or don't follow it?
It's when I don't follow it. So I use Waze. Love Waze. But there are times when I'm going in a direction, I think I know better than Waze. And then I wish that I'd followed Waze because I've just like taken myself into roadworks, which obviously Waze knew were there. I didn't know, but actually I thought I knew better. Yeah. So no, following my sat nav is by far the best thing to do.
I've seen quite a bit on social media where you've said, oh, seem to have got myself lost. Yeah. Did you say that's because you're on the phone?
No, no, it's generally, I think...
Taking those phone calls.
So this again is this impression of how people think about social media. I think I've only ever put 3 posts up about getting lost. That's 3 posts out of how many thousand posts do I put up, but that's what people remember. And sometimes I'll put those little hooks in because I'd rather people know me as a person, not just this this is who they think I am. From social media, but generally I do get to places on time. I don't get lost. It has just been a couple of times when that has happened.
And that's been the fault of roadworks and things anyway. So
or once when I was coming out of the services, I came out of Cherwell services and I just turned left instead of right. So I'd come from London and then I ended up driving back towards London.
You had such a good time you had to go back. I think we've all done that now. I've done that on the M40.
Yes.
Late at night, I've headed back from, I'd only got as far as Beaconsfield, but I turned right instead of left, and I was like, I've already been through this. And I suddenly saw it, and I was like,
Yeah, it is. It's so easy to do that, but I do know when I come out of Cherwell now, just get in the right lane.
That's it, You only do it once.
Exactly.
I
never want to do that again.
You're paranoid about it, and you'll tell everyone about it as well for the rest of your life.
Yeah, people definitely just pull my leg over that.
Yeah, that's it. So, you drive a lot of the time. You're driving around a lot. What's your car of choice at the moment? You've got
my car of choice at the moment is a Qashqai. It's a hard-working car. It will do what it needs to do. It's done nearly 100,000 miles, and I will probably keep it until it starts to go wrong.
Yeah.
I think my favourite car that I ever had was an Integra Type R. Which I just absolutely loved. That was my favourite car, but because I think it was at a time when people just cause vandalism to your car because it's a nice car. I had it keyed, I had somebody put a window through on it, I had people open their doors and dink it, and it was just like, it's got to go.
Yeah.
And then I got a Golf, which I had for 16 years. So I'm not somebody who changes cars easily.
No. Do you see a car as like a tool for the job?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm not on any level one of these people that is like, there's 3 things that cause me stress. Buying a new car, getting a new computer, and changing my phone. Let me go and buy a house. Let me go and buy a property. It's £200,000. I can go and do that. That is not stressful. Changing my car is the worst. And one of my friends years and years and years ago got so fed up of me going, I need to change my car, but I don't know what I need to do. When I was changing from the Integra, he literally rang me up the one day, went to go to Macro, they're selling Golfs, go and buy yourself a Golf, you'll really like it. And I did. I rang up my credit card company to need to extend the credit limit because I'm going to go buy a car on my card. Can I do that? They did that, and I went to Macro and bought a card on credit card. Macro.
We're selling Golfs?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, that was back in, flipping heck, a long time ago now. Probably
late 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say Integra Type R around about 91, 92.
Yeah.
Something, wasn't it?
Yeah, so my Integra was a 54 plate.
54?
I think.
So that was 2004 then?
Okay, I don't know, I'm rubbish.
Yeah.
And then, so then I got my Golf after that.
So probably 2006, 2005.
Possibly,
Okay, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of car supermarket stuff back then. Everyone was, because there were a lot of Holland imports.
Yeah, so my Golf was brand new. I think it was an import.
Yeah, that's it. The 2-year
but it
warranty
didn't come through as an immediate import because when I got my insurance, I didn't have to insure it as an imported car.
Yeah, it's
I don't know how they got around it, but
we bought one as well from Motorpoint, and it was taken to Holland. Sat there for a month and then brought back over.
Okay.
And then, but they're UK spec cars. It's just that you got 2-year warranty instead of 3.
Yep. So I think that was a 61 plate, maybe. I don't know. I'm so rubbish at trying to remember when I bought cars.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I bet if I asked you when did you buy that property.
Sorry?
I bet if I asked you about one of your properties and when you bought one of the properties, you'd be like, bought it then.
Maybe. Maybe. So we bought a number of properties about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to people at Property Network meetings about buying them 4 years ago, and it was only when I went onto Rightmove to look at like what I paid for them a couple of weeks ago. It's like, oh my word, I've had them that long. Yeah. Time goes by so quickly.
It does.
So no, I'm not sure that I would be able to give you what year when I've bought property.
That's why, because when people talk about 25-year mortgages, 30-year mortgages, and say, it goes fast. Yeah,
It did.
Like, we've had properties for 25 years now.
Yeah.
Like the mortgage is up for renewal, and it's like.
Well, that happens on my own flat, because I've
Really?
lived in my own flat since '97.
Yeah.
And my 25-year mortgage came to an end, and I didn't think about the fact that it was an interest only, because when I bought that flat, I was able to buy it on a self-cert.
Yeah.
So I self-certed my mortgage.
Good old days.
In the good old days. So when that came to an end, it was like, and I think it took me about 3 years to actually get round to remortgaging it, because I just kept paying the mortgage.
Yeah,
and in the end, they were like, you've got to pay this back.
Yeah.
And if you don't, we'll repossess. Okay, maybe that's the motivation now for me to
the trigger
remortgage
point,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing, people really worry about stuff like that, don't they? Oh, the deadline's coming. When it actually comes to it, a lot of the time they give a bit of flex, don't they?
Quite a lot of flex.
Yeah, 3 years.
Exactly. But I kept paying my mortgage every month.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to keep paying the payments, but...
Yeah, now my flat is on a repayment.
Yeah.
And I'm still now in two minds as to whether or not should I just get to a point at which that I can save the money and I could just pay it off. But then my interest rate on it is only like 5%. So it's almost like good debt to have, because the interest rate isn't huge.
Have you sold properties as you've gone along, or are you one of these investors that just accumulate?
Yeah, I don't think we've sold anything.
Really? So you just if you need to, you just move things around and...
Yeah, if we've needed to get cash out, then we've refinanced and we've so my portfolio is probably at about 65% loan to value.
Brilliant.
So I've never wanted to have a really, really high loan to value. I'd rather be in a situation that I know, worst case scenario, if everything had to get sold, all the mortgages would get paid.
Yeah, you got a chunk of money in there.
Or even if there's no money left in, all the mortgages are paid off.
Yeah, and you're clear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, brilliant.
So yeah, it's. I think there's so many different ways that you can be involved with property, and everybody that you talk to has a different opinion about what you should do.
Definitely.
And quite often people will say to me, well, Sue, what's a good return on a property? Go for every single investor that I work with, it's different.
Yeah.
So for you, it could be very different to what I'm looking at, but you talk to a third person and they will have a different opinion again. So for those people that say to me, well, what's a good return? It isn't what's a good return for me, it's what's a good return for you.
Yeah.
You need to go away, you need to look at your numbers, you need to work out your numbers and then decide, am I happy with that or not? Because I think quite a lot of people are surprised when they talk to me is the fact that I've bought all of my properties through estate agents. So I've probably paid market price, but that works for me because I've been happy with the rent that I'm going to get back in terms of the amount of money we've paid out for the property. But then I've also bought them in areas where they're not particularly good areas now, but where I think in the future there's going to be capital growth.
Yeah. In Birmingham right now, on that point, where would you say those pockets of areas are, if there are any?
Chelmsley Wood, Kingshurst, Smithswood, over there, because I just think there is so much going on in and around that area.
Yeah, I agree.
That I don't think it's particularly, I don't think prices have gone up there that much yet. And if we ever got the second runway at Birmingham Airport, that will make a difference. You've got HS2 coming in that way. You've got all the distribution centres that are opening up. I think there's a new transport hub that is being opened over there. So I think that is potentially an area.
It's the other side of the A45, isn't it, basically, all that stuff,
Yeah.
I'll be looking at Sheldon and Shard End and Ward End and places like that as well, because that's kind of, that kind of area.
Yep.
And what I've seen is a lot of working professionals are moving from their family homes, like, when they're getting their own places, and they're moving there because it's the cheaper end of the market.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's starting to.
Yeah, you talk about Ward End. Mum and Dad used to have a post office in Ward End. On
Really? Is that where it was?
Yeah, on Washwood Heath Road, yeah.
So you know the area well. Yeah.
It is, it's really strange when like people talk to me and say, how do you know so much about Birmingham?
Yeah.
One, when I was in recruitment,
but
I was going to businesses all over Birmingham, and then working in lettings, you're always going to have landlords that have got properties all over the place.
Yeah, you go to viewings and kick out jobs and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So, for all our listeners out there, to kind of sum up, if you can, because it's a very broad question, what would you say for someone looking to get into property or just business in general? What would you say their top characteristics or top tips would be from your perspective?
I think you have to be resilient.
Yeah.
I think you need to be persistent. I think you need to be able to accept no lots and lots and lots of times before you're likely to get a yes. And I think you've got to have a certain amount of money behind you. Not necessarily big money, but you do need to have enough. So I think, as we said before, you can pay your bills. So you need to work out how are your bills probably going to be paid for the next 12 months while your business is getting off the ground.
Yeah, definitely. Good advice. So I think that wraps us up quite nicely. So thanks very much once again. It's
my
been
pleasure.
Really, really good.
Good to talk to you.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So thanks for watching today. I hope that you've learnt some useful hints and tips, and there's been something that you've learnt from us. If you've liked what you've heard, please can you like, share and subscribe to MotorServe TV.
Hi, thanks for watching today's episode. I hope you got a lot of information and tips from it. If you do like content like this, please do like, subscribe and share our content, and please do catch up on our next episodes. Thanks very much.